The moon hung low in the sky, a pale light casting an eerie glow over the desolate highway. Emily's car had sputtered to a stop miles from civilization, leaving her stranded with no cell signal and no sign of help. Desperation gnawed at her as she decided to do the unthinkable, hitchhike. She stuck out her thumb, hoping for a miracle. The minutes dragged on, and just as she was about to lose hope, a pair of headlights pierced the darkness. A rusty old truck rumbled to a stop beside her, its engine growling like a beast. The driver, a gaunt man with hollow eyes and a crooked smile, leaned out the window. "Need a ride?" he asked, his voice rough and gravelly. Emily hesitated, but the chill of the night and the isolation pushed her to accept. She climbed into the passenger seat, the worn leather creaking under her weight. The man said little as they drove, the silence between them thick and uncomfortable. The truck's interior smelled of damp earth and something else she couldn't quite place, something metallic and faintly sweet. She shivered and glanced at the man, whose eyes never left the road. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles were white. "Where you headed?" he asked after a long silence. "Just trying to get to the nearest town," Emily replied, forcing a smile. He nodded, but his gaze remained fixed ahead, unblinking. As they drove deeper into the night, the landscape grew wilder, the trees pressing in on either side of the narrow road. Emily's unease grew with each passing mile. "Why are you out here alone?" the man asked suddenly, breaking the silence. "My car broke down," she said, her voice trembling. "I didn't have a choice." He nodded again, but there was something in his eyes, a glint of something dark and hungry. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she glanced around the cab, searching for anything that could be used as a weapon if necessary. She noticed a large hunting knife tucked into the door pocket, its blade gleaming in the moonlight. Suddenly, the truck veered off the main road, jolting Emily from her thoughts. Panic surged through her veins. "Where are we going?" she demanded, her voice rising. "Shortcut," he replied, his grin widening. The road turned into a rough, rutted track, the trees closing in like a cage. Emily's breath came in quick, shallow gasps as she realized the danger she was in. The man's smile twisted into something malevolent, and he let out a low chuckle. "You know," he said slowly, "I don't usually pick up hitchhikers. Too dangerous. But you looked like you needed help." Emily's hand inched toward the hunting knife, her fingers trembling. She had to act fast. As the truck lurched over a bump, she seized the knife and lunged at the man, slashing wildly. He howled in pain and anger, the truck swerving violently. The truck skidded to a stop, and Emily threw open the door, tumbling out into the night. She sprinted into the woods, the man's enraged shouts echoing behind her. Branches tore at her clothes and skin, but she didn't stop, her fear propelling her forward. Hours later, as dawn broke, Emily stumbled out onto another road, exhausted and bloody but alive. A passing car slowed, its driver calling out in concern. She collapsed to her knees, tears streaming down her face, grateful for the second chance she'd been given. But in the depths of the forest, the gaunt man watched from the shadows, his eyes glinting with an unholy hunger. He would find her again. He always did.